Hey everyone, so this story idea I came up with, I'm going to share it with you. I want you to put down in the comment section if I should do kind of like a comic book that goes with this story, and I'll post it on the internet someday. Another thing, this story is about a young Jewish boy who, with his love of early comic books and pulp magazines, radio shows, Saturday matinees, all that stuff, grows up to be kind of this vigilante. Do keep in mind, I'm not Jewish, I don't attend to be. But I do love and respect the Jewish people and their culture. Like I do any culture, really, and any people. I love everybody, really. But I understand there's a lot of sensitivity with that. And I just want to say I will be very respectable to their culture and the people. But I'm not going to sugarcoat it either. Sugarcoating it doesn't do anything. It's like pretending these things didn't happen. What I want you to take out of this story is what anyone can do is good. What this boy, who I name Harold Ramis, did. So enjoy the story and kick back and relax. Because even though it's fictional, it is based on real events. Okay. A long time ago, in 1929, there was a Jewish community. They were fun, chill back, and went free. They were poor working class people, but they didn't care because they were happy, because they had their own communities and their families. But evil did came over one time. Tanks, guns, missiles shut off to destroy this Jewish community forever. A young boy named Harold Ramis ran to his father and his mother, trying to put him on the ship what his father is going to give him up. The father said, "Listen, boy, you're going to go to the U.S., You're going to go live with your grandparents now. I understand you don't want to, but you must. But you're going to grow up to be great things one of these days, and don't forget it. What's happening right now is only going to be in the past. But never let this past happen again." He cried, and he said he promises. He went on a ship. They sailed him away to New York City. When he got there, he didn't know what to expect out of his grandparents. He saw them before, but never really talked to him. His grandfather and grandmother did make a good impression on him, though, by making pies for him. Worried about his parents, his grandfather did tell him, "You know, I lost my father in the war once. It's sad, but that's why we have to understand. We must stand up for our own communities. But even then, we also must stand up for people outside of our communities, our allies." He smiled at his grandfather. His grandfather said, "Come here, I want to show you something." He pulled out something what looked like an envelope. It wasn't an envelope. "I want you to have this." He opened it, confused. What it was an old Shadow magazine. He really liked the idea of a man undoing the injustices of the world, dressing up in a cloak. His grandfather gave him 10 cents and took him to the newspaper stand. There he saw it going into 1930 now. He saw an issue of an old superhero. He opened it. He flipped the pages around. And that's when he figured out radio shows and Saturday matinees. He went to the movie theater almost every day. His grandfather pushed this idea on him. We must be the real life superheroes. Mass Avengers, that's what they were called back in the day. Pulp heroes. Because we're the ones who need to do things right in their own communities. Taking to know about his grandfather, he was very against, not necessarily the government, but he was against the hateable government. He thought power of the people was right. And that dawned on him and that dawned on young Harold as he mixed his values of his grandfather and his love for old pulps. When he got older, he noticed the world was never like what his grandfather wanted it to be. That made him sad. However, he did get an idea in his head. Going to his local newspaper stand in 1938, he picked up Action Comics #1. Now, Action Comics #1 was the first appearance of Superman. He read it. It was so great that he had to just... wow. So he had this idea. He's going to get a job as a booking agent for newspapers. Okay? Because, as a booking agent, basically, for newspapers. But he didn't get the job. But he did get a job for the newspaper boy, which was fun. He thought, this is better, actually. I could be a newspaper boy, and if I see trouble, I can just slip into my suit. He donned a cape, a short cape, with a domino mask. He did his hair all fancy to tribute Clark Kent, and he wore a black turtleneck with his, where he sewn his own symbol on his chest with an R. He called himself Righteous. The idea is righteous was going to do what's right, what's righteous, what is true. So while he was doing this, he caught the mayor of the city, of New York City at the time, brutally beating his wife. He was shocked of this. How dare he, a mayor, pursue New York City like that? Well, this was his chance. He put on his domino mask and everything. He said, "Hey, mister, how dare you do that and say you're for New York?" He took a good look at him, and the mayor laughed at him. He said, "You fool, what are you doing? It's not Halloween. Get out of here." But he punched a blow to the mayor's face. My secretaries will be all over this. But he floored the mayor. He grabbed the woman and said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Yes, thank you. Who are you?" He said, "I am righteous. Tell the cops everything. Don't sugarcoat it. And make sure you're okay." "Okay. I'll stay here for right now." And basically, he was all over the newspapers. Masked man stopped the insane crooked mayor from beating his wife. It was all over the newspapers in 1938. And he looks up to the sky and says, "I am righteous." I hope you enjoyed that.